Okay, so I promised a video of a closer look at script control. Um, so this is it. This is the script control, and I think I showed some of this previously, but I want to go further. So earlier, in an earlier video, I showed you the one-liners. You can add a one-liner, but you can also add multiple lines. So we're adding a multiple line function there. But I did some investigations a while back, and I had some findings about how good Excel is and Excel VBA is with using JSON, because some of it is quite promising. So this is JSON. Let's just run this. So here you see JSON. Actually, let's just so it's key value pairs. An object is wrapped in curly brackets. Oops, excuse me. I just and you can have sub-objects like that. So that's a sub-object. And what you can do is, if you run JSON parse, I used to use eval, but eval is wrong because it's got a security hole in it. What you do is you go script control run, and then you pass in a function name. That function must be defined by adding it earlier. But this, we just step over this object. It's nothing currently. Step over it. If we go look at the so if we just look at the variable, you see you have key, and key2 is a sub-object. Now in JavaScript, you can write lines like this, and indeed in VBA you can write a line like this. You can actually drill into the object. Thus, so we can say, let's just go to the right, and the next line here. Let's do that key 3. Right, so you think, oh wow, that's brilliant. I can traverse the object, but there's a problem, and the problem is this: VBA it has a capitalization issue, so it doesn't like it will recase the text. So here we have key 1 with let's stop the code. So here I have key 1 with the small k, and that's fine, and it worked because we have small k here. If I uncomment this line, I add a new token to its vocabulary, and it starts with a capital K. At that K here will become capital as well. Let's just see. Watch this up here. You see? And now this line breaks. Doesn't support this method. Doesn't support this property. Right. So that was really very frustrating. Right. Because this, I'd much rather use this dot syntax, because it's very much like, it's very much like the dot syntax when you traverse the object model. Oops. I can't spell today. Worksheets. Yeah, you get the dots, right? Dot, whatever. So, using dot syntax is wonderful, and I was really hopeful when I found this, but then I hit this issue, and so that's very unfortunate. But the solution is to well, you have to use call by name. So here I put key 1. You put key 1 in inverted commas, and so it doesn't matter. It will never be recapitalized. It's a bit clunky, but there you go. I mean, if people from Microsoft are watching, if they can perhaps not do that in future, if they can just say VBA is case sensitive, well, I for one would be happy. but VBA is a beginner's language, so actually being case insensitive is actually a feature which is helpful for beginners. So that's the reason why that exists. Okay. So, next experiment. So once, okay, so you have to commit to using call by name. But actually, call by name has other advantages, right? Let's just go through this. So here, we're going to parse this piece of JSON. So this JSON is, in fact, it's an array because it's got square brackets. And it's an array of literal numbers. So, get down to here. So we say, well, what's the length? So hopefully that'll be 2. So we call by name on length. Because it's an array, it ships a length property. So it says 2. That's correct. Now, in order to get an array element, you say call by name and you say 0 or 1, right? Because that's just the element number converted to a string. Let's just show you this 0 and 1 here. Actually, this comes up as duplicate. Don't worry about that. But that's just a debug statement that says the first one should return 1, 2, 3, 4, and the second one returns 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So the next experiment is this function override toString, which is defined up here. And so if you've worked with, say, Java, I think also C#, there you have a toString function which will convert the object's state into a string representation. And JavaScript has the same as well, but it's the default string representation from JavaScript is not very good, and we can do better. So, well, let's just demonstrate this. Let's go down here. Okay. So I have some JSON here. Should be quite familiar with this now. And if I step over this, what I get is object. This is not terribly descriptive. When you want to see what's inside it, you can go into the locals, you can go see the key value pairs. But if we change the toString function, then hang on, let's just see. If I go to the immediate window, the toString function is being evaluated here. But we can change the toString function like this. So we just step over this line. Now watch this. We've changed it the way it talks to VBA and how it reports itself. That's really very good. And not just in the immediate window. Now, if I hover, you see I get a much better string representation. Let me show that again in case you missed it. So the first time it's just object. That's not very good. We override, and now we have a better string representation. So that's nice. Okay. Okay. So now, I'm gonna put those in my code from now on. We could put it in. We could do something a bit clever and put some sort of get and override together. Perhaps the reader would like to do that. So next thing is, it's like, okay, fine. So an object has key value pairs. Can we enumerate the keys? Now, yes, we can, and there are a variety of ways of doing it. But I personally like to use a scripting dictionary. I use scripting dictionaries all over the place. And we've got a function up here called enumKeys to msdict, where ms stands for Microsoft. And this is the function. And we just if we are given a JSON object and a Microsoft dictionary, iterate through the keys and add the key to the dictionary. We don't actually add the value here. We just put 0. So we've created the dictionary, and he has 2. After we've run this and we populate the dictionary with the keys from the JavaScript object, you should have 2 keys, so you should have key 1 and key 2. And we do. Just to verify, here's the keys, and we have key 1 and key 2. Okay. Next experiment. Okay, so if you didn't have the dictionary, it's an alternative approach to detecting if a property exists or not. And the answer is yes, there is. So this is sort of built into the Microsoft Script Control. It's addition of to JavaScript. So we have this thing called hasOwn property, which I think is actually an official JavaScript function. So here, let's just run this. So we have, this is our favorite piece of JavaScript, JSON. So do we have key 1 and key 2? Yes, we do. So we just debug assert, I mean it should return true. And I'm just going to use call_by_name to get the sub object. And I'll just override the sub object string representation. Very good. Okay. Does key 2 have a key 3? Yes, it does. So that should be fine. Okay. Well, this is some work we did. So when I was working on the Foo Bar application, very often I'd work with the JavaScript in the browser, and then I just copy it across. But you need your test scripts here. So these are test scripts. I should have seen this in the other videos. They all run fine. Okay, just one last thing is to show you can splice. Oh yes, I mean I showed you in the Foo Bar application how you can delete a beer from the beer list of beers, and I just want to show you that again with different data. So this is Google Maps data, and do you know what? I really like this. And I am going to add this to here. And I really like this, so I'm going to add this to here. I might add some more. Let's just see. Okay, object. That's not very useful. Well, that's better. And let's just see the structure of this. Okay, so markers is an array. And within, sometimes you have a name, sometimes you don't. No, you always have a name. Sometimes you have a position, sometimes you have a location. That's interesting. That's not consistent. Well, okay. Well, whatever. I think this code goes on. Because that's the array. I think this code goes on to delete the last one and the first one, and because we're deleting and we don't want to upset the iterator, what we do is we start from the end. So this starts from the end and takes the end one off and then deletes the first one. So we have splice, we're taking one out. So at the end, marker should only have one item, the Shangri-La. Oh yeah, and actually, do you know what? I don't think I've shown you this yet. That's a JSON object, but sometimes you want to take it back to being a string. So here we call JSON stringify. Debug print. It's a bit cluttered down here. Okay. Good.